Before you continue watching this series, I want to make one thing clear. None of what you're about to see is the absolute truth. That means I give as much validity to a statement made by a vigilante as I do one by a refugee. Please, do your own research and take everything you're about to see with a grain of salt. In half an hour I have an interview with the Bulgarian Helsinki Committee. Vigilantes around the border aren't particularly fond of them.
Здравейте, българи! Днес получих призовка, че на 14 февруари съм заловил група сирийци на нашата граница. И за това, че съм ги задържал и накарал да легнат на земята, защото посегнаха да ме бият, да ме ръгат, аз не съм виновен и Хелзинския комитет подават жалба и утре в 1 часа съм в районото в Бургас.
During the summer I had the opportunity to witness a protest where people were coming together to sign to disband the group, claiming that it was un-Bulgarian and against the interests of the country.
Пишете, не конкретизирайте много. И там и другото също.
Може ли там да напишем?
My first question, of course, concerned how the Bulgarian population viewed the work of their organization.
Well, it's very easy to get scared, and since the voice of the far right is far, louder and more hearable than, let's say, the voice of NGOs, of human rights activists, etc., the general attitudes on the society are negative, and mainly because of the lack of understanding of what the majority of the people are actually looking for to get in Europe, speaking about asylum seekers and refugees.
I mentioned the protests I was at during the summer and asked what types of retaliation the Bulgarian Helsinki Committee faced.
After last year in October, when there was a border incident, an Afghani person was shot at the border 30 kilometers after the border in what the Interior Ministry described as an unfortunate incident. Actually, there was a ricochet in a bridge under which the group of asylum seekers was hiding, of people that weren't asylum seekers at the time. Well, after that, since we called for a thorough investigation of the case, which to review all facts in which actually it happened, we started to receive lots of hate mail, which culminated actually this year, I think in September or October, when the chairperson of the Bulgarian Helsinki Committee was attacked in the center of Sofia and was hit several times by still unidentified people. But there is no doubt that he was attacked because of his work, not because it wasn't just a simple criminal incident, just a fight on the street. It was an attack due to his position and his work.
Seeing as how in 2 days I'd be visiting vigilantes myself, I asked about what their current status was within the country.
Well, basically, I don't really have a view on how they, if they continue to operate or how they continue to operate right now. We don't get complaints by people that we meet in detention centers. I think for the since the time they actually appeared, this group surfaced, I think we had only one story by a person that said, yes, these people met me, the masked people who didn't wear, they wore like military uniforms, but they weren't.
However, I pointed out the large social media following the individuals had and asked about his opinion on their followers.
So, I mean, it depends on the area of Bulgaria that you ask for. For example, here in Sofia, they don't have so many supporters. Back there at the border, in small villages, amongst, let's say, less educated people and stuff, it's easier for them to accept their creed, of their sayings, their aim. For them, they are protectors. The enemies, the migrant, the refugee, the person that crosses the border illegally. It's a threat to them and their way of life. But actually, here in Sofia or in other major cities, you wouldn't hear much of support for them, because it's pretty obvious for any intelligent person that these are mainly criminals. They have a criminal past. So, as I think I shared with you in the summer when we met, their main purpose is mainly to get credibility in the eyes of society in order to do what they do behind curtains, let's say.
Given my conversation with Rasan from last night, I wanted to clear up one question. How often did the Helsinki Committee hear of attacks against refugees in Bulgaria?
I think it actually happened, I mean, at least from the reports that I've seen, it's like happened once or twice. Once or twice only, and it was again, I think it was kind of, again, connected with, it was kind of organized. Like, I don't think that, the hooligans who are, let's say, based in another part of the city would just one day say, let's go and beat some refugees. I think that there was an agenda behind all that. And Bulgaria has a history of using these types of groups as, at political protests, to incite rioting and everything. So I don't think it's a genuine personal decision of the hooligans to go to Ovchikopov and attack people. I think there is something behind it. A political agenda, I would say.
Leaving the interview, I was a bit frustrated as my camera stopped recording the final question I asked, which I've decided I'll include either way. My interviewee explained that the organization he worked for was not an evangelist NGO. They weren't under the impression that all refugees were good people and needed to be welcomed. He explained that the committee was aware that some entering might have different intentions and cautioned against thinking of their NGO as ignorant. Although this seems obvious, I felt the need to include his statement, as this doesn't seem to be made nearly enough in the discussion around which side is right or wrong. Tomorrow morning, I have an 8 AM bus to catch, so I shall leave you with some imagery from this incredibly snowy city.